Oh, careful, honey. Those things are hot. You don't want to touch them. No, don't touch. It's very hot. Come here, come here. Oh, I'll tell you about them, man. This is the ghost right here.
That's a ghost?
And it is just huge. It's just huge. All right, now this one here is another ghost. To give you some idea, when we had no idea when we planted these that these pet plants would get so doggone huge. And this starts the marugas right here. This is actually 4 plants, if you can believe that. 4 plants. Now I get a shot of some of them. They're starting to come in. This is September 20th. We've already had several come off, about 4 or 5 that were just absolutely scorchers. Let's just pull some back here. See what we got going on in here. It doesn't look to me like they're as fruitful as habanero plants, does it? There's some down in there. There's some coming in there. We still got to wait a while before we harvest. It's just a little. There's some down there. What we want to do is wait to harvest them, where we have the most ripe ones and the least unripe. See, there's a bunch of hot ghost peppers in there. Look at that. But this plant here, this ghost plant here, is just loaded with them. This one's got a lot more fruit on it than any of the rest of them, doesn't it? Any of those marugas. Let's look to see if that comes through in there. Yeah, look at those suckers. Them suckers are getting ripe. This sucker, this has got enough ghost peppers to last a lifetime on it. Look at this, just dozens. There's probably over 100 on that one plant.
Easy. Wow.
And some of these plants are, well, I'd say 3.5 feet tall. Just pull some back here. Yeah, there's a bunch in there, but not near as many as on those ghost peppers. And it looks like all the ripe ones we pulled are on this one on the very north side, wasn't it?
Yep.
It seems to be doing better. I wonder if that's soil condition or something. But these plants are just thick and dense, like a jungle in there. And this one on the north actually looks like it's got more fruit than the others.
It does. And you know what?
What's that?
That one over there. I didn't realize they were going to get that tall. We should have
Staked them, yeah.
staked. No. Spread them out more.
Oh yeah.
I did. Brought more.
Well, we spread them out like 3 feet.
Yeah, we did. But man, a jalapeno don't get that big.
No, neither does a bell pepper.
They're just huge.
I had never seen a pepper plant that spread out that much.
Never. Wow. It's just humongous.
Okay, we're going to harvest the ghost peppers and the marugas. And this is a maruga. And you can see how tall this plant is. It's over 4 feet tall. And right now they're covered with peppers. And I'm ready for the harvest. And let's start with this ghost pepper down here. Hi there. Okay. Yeah. Ooh. Let me get my glasses out. Okay. Oh, beautiful oranges and reds. Look at that. Man, oh man. Man, oh man. There's a green one there. I'm going to go ahead and grab it. And put these in here. Let's get There's a pretty one there. It's got a lot of dirt on it though. Alright. Let's come back around here. Get some more. Some of them's got holes where bugs been eating on them. And I can't imagine any kind of bug, like right here. How in the world would a bug eat that?
Wow.
I mean, how'd it eat that much? My goodness.
Bug must have a tummy on him.
Oh man. Oops. Let's see here. There's another one. These fiery monsters. Woo! Oh. I'm just going to pick them and leave them here. I wonder if a rabbit would eat one of them.
Boy, I'd be sucker outrun a motorcycle if you did. Elizabeth's connecting her hot.
Okay. Man, look at that cluster there. Ain't that something?
Wow, that's a bunch of lightweight ones.
It's the bottom, buddy.
I'm being filmed by my longtime friend, buddy, neighbor, Raymond. Raymond Schwartz.
Boy, I grew the peppers, man.
He's the one that, this is his garden. He was the curator. That thing is just, look how big that sucker is. Holy smokes. Okay, let's get some more of these. Now, I don't know.
Lila.
Yeah, these matured.
Yep, the hairy stuff.
Look at the color on those. That one right there is ready to go.
Harry,
Here's some more here.
Harry.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, darling. These might be some kind of, this might be a different strain of ghost peppers as such. Look at the size of that sucker.
That thing's freaking huge.
Look at, I mean, that sucker there is just now ripening, and you'll see it's got a green tip on it, and it's brown, as brown can be. Huh. Makes me wonder what kind of strain this is. Look at that, there's another one. This might be some weird kind of ghost. I got these from my buddy Greg Goodnight. I got the seedlings. I can't tell. I believe this is probably the same bush. Right here.
It looked like it.
Look at that cluster right there. Can you focus in on that cluster? Let me see. Bring that. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Wow.
That might be. Man, oh man. I've got it written down when we planted them. I think we planted them in July, didn't I?
I think so. We still got that.
And today is, this is September the 28th.
28th. Yep.
Daddy.
Hmm.
They were off the water.
Okay.
Look at that. That's a real deep, rich color red.
Dang.
That one right there is not quite ripe. That one's not quite right what I wanted. And this thing is just still covered.
Just covered with them. They just keep coming. That's the way my jalapenos are. They're just freaking crazy.
Okay. Now, there's our harvest for the ghosts. Now, we're gonna get some marugas. And Raymond, I want to say, this plant almost looks like a vine running down there. I mean, I've never seen peppers run like a vine like that.
I know.
Oh my goodness. A cluster of marugas in here. Look at them suckers. They're beautiful.
Them are nice.
They are pretty. No doubt about it. And they're hot.
Ooh, boy. Eat a few of those. Make your tummy come inside out.
Yeah, it looks like they run in a vine.
Yeah, it does.
Marugas. We got some more in here. Check out that beauty there. Now, the only difference I can tell between the Maruga, or which is a variation of the Trinidad scorpion, and the Trinidad scorpion, is that the scorpion has a little tip coming out of it. But from what I have done and I have tasted, they're the same hot and the same flavor.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the heat goes, I can't tell any difference.
Yeah.
Let's come back around here. I'll catch that from the other side. Over here. I'll come through here. Jeez. Okay. All right, come around over this way if you can. And I'm gonna work on this cluster here. I wonder if goats would eat these.
I don't know if a goat would eat them or not. Make that sucker.
Look at the size of that sucker there.
Whew. Wow.
I was at a company gathering last week, and I cut one of these suckers open,
Uh-huh.
and the guy sitting next to me, his eyes started watering. He had to move. He said, man, I gotta move.
No
I don't know
kidding.
what those are, but man, that smells, that'd kill me.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, we had last year, we didn't, Summer got to shut this little gate,
Yeah?
and our jalapenos over there,
Uh-huh.
beans was just about ready to come on. Them freaking sheep all got out, tore that corn up, tore the beans up, tore some tomato plants up, did not touch the jalapenos. That's the only thing that
Okay.
that's the only thing that survived was
They
the
probably
jalapenos.
put one guy up to it. Hey, you go try it. And then he probably starts kicking a pitch fit.
They learned their, I don't know, I'm sure they tried
That's
it.
probably the biggest one so far.
Man, that seems huge.
There's another one been eaten on by a bug.
Yeah, I can't see how bugs can eat them.
I don't know.
They gotta burn their asses up. Wow. They gotta be hurting. Shut up.
Hey, Noah. You want to try one of these?
They'll jump your heart.
Yeah, you won't need your heart medicine. Hey, Shine. Man, I believe that's a good deal there. Huh?
I don't pay attention to him.
Okay, I believe we got them. It looks like the bulk of the marugas still haven't matured.
Oh no, no they didn't.
The ghosts came in faster and more, but these marugas are still covered with unripe deals.
Oh yeah.
And looks like some of them are going to be real big too.
Woo. You dang right they are.
Oh boy.
I don't know if I even want to try one. I'm scared.
You got to cut it up in little pieces and take it little bit at a time. Okay, we got our harvest. Now we're going to process these suckers, and I'm going to show everything about it. I'm going to show my recipe, how I cut them up, how I process them and pickle them. We're going to pickle these peppers.
Oh boy,
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Okay, here's my harvest. Marugas on the right, ghost peppers on the left. And look at the color of some of these. Holy smokes, just every kind of color you can imagine in there, except for blue. And some of these aren't quite ripe, but I like to go ahead and include them because it gives some color to them. Okay, now I'm going to wash these up and let them dry, and I'll be processing these this evening. Okay, this is my recipe for pickling peppers. I initially got the basics for it from a friend of mine, Barb, and I modified it for habanero peppers, and it works good. It's we're going to pickle them, and you have to keep them in the refrigerator. Habanero and vinegar, or in our case here, marugas and ghost peppers and vinegar, works with any pepper. Cut or increase recipe proportionally if necessary to fit application for harvest. Clean and de-seed the habanero with gloves. If you plan on cutting peppers up into small pieces, it is easier to do it at this point. And this is what I do. I can eat these peppers, but I can't eat them just big chunks. I get the hiccups, and I like to enjoy hot peppers. And I have done habanero peppers probably about 10 times. At least 10 times with this recipe. And this is the first time I've done maruga scorpions and ghost peppers. But it's going to be the same. And number 2, add a 1/4 cup of salt to 1 quart of water. Soak the cut habanero scorpions in the salt water overnight. You can go a few days if necessary. Put them in the fridge. Now, I already have 2 pans with a quart of water and the salt in them. Number 3, add 1½ cups vinegar and 1 tablespoon of salt to 1 cup of water. Bring to a boil. Drain the cut peppers and put into canning mason jars with tongs. You don't want to touch it. Put paper plates under stations or place jars in sink. Pour the boiling vinegar liquid into each jar over the cut habanero peppers. Seal and store in fridge after the jar has cooled. Carefully clean all work areas, bowls, and tools. Then warn others of hazards. Do not touch faucet handles with tainted gloves. Label jars XXX hot. Keep out of reach of children. Okay, this is the salt that I use. And this is my workstation here. And since I am going to be separating the marugas from the ghost peppers, I've got 2 plates set up here. One for marugas and one the scorpions, and one for the ghost peppers. Now right here, as you see, this is what my cleaning will be. You want to put, already got a rag on top of my sink faucet, and you don't even want to touch this with your gloves when you start to wash them. So you want to have plenty of rags that are going to go straight into the laundry as soon as you get finished with this. That's all you can do. And this is my cutting board that I use only with peppers. I don't use them with anything else. And here's my harvest, and I'm going to cut and de-seed these, but I'm not going to film the whole process. I'm going to show how I do it, and let you go from there. I'll just videotape a little bit of it, and then I'll have me putting them into the pans. And here are 3 screwdrivers. Now you might wonder, what in the world am I doing? How do 3 screwdrivers come into play here? Well, it's very simple. Like I say, I have done this many times. These right here are when you get an itch, because you will get an itch. You will have to rub your nose or something, and you can either use one of your clean rags or you can use a screwdriver. I use a screwdriver, and that saves you from having to take off your gloves. Okay, here's my knife that I'm going to be using. I may use another knife too. And I've got 3 or 4 pairs of 6 mil gloves here. And since I've been doing this, the habanero, even though these nitrile gloves are 6 mil, they're the thicker ones, or thicker mechanic gloves. I get these at Napa. The habanero would sometimes burn through 1 layer of gloves. So to be sure that I don't get fried on my hands, I'm going to be doubling up on the gloves. And that way, if I have an issue, I can quickly take off the outer layer, throw those away, and put on another layer as soon as I can. Now, you have to treat these peppers like a hazardous waste. One stupid move can land you in a world of hurt. You do not want to mess with it. You treat it like a hazardous waste. Everything it touches is contaminated. The bowls, the stems, the garbage, your plates, your pans, everything is going to be contaminated. So what you want to do is whatever it is you're drinking, make sure that you've already got them open in the fridge. Make sure that you've got everything taken care of. If the phone rings, don't answer it. You don't want to get hurt, and you go messing with these guys, you try to fight one of these peppers, you will lose. You will lose. Look at that beauty. Because now I love to eat these, and when I used to can them or pickle them, I would wait until after they were canned, because it's just so much trouble to cut them up into the small pieces at this time. But it is easier in the long run. It takes longer to process them, but I like doing it better this way, cutting them when I'm de-seeding them. Okay, I've got on the 1 set of gloves. Now comes the next set of gloves. And then I will go and wash these, my outers, just to make sure they're nice and clean. Okay, the gloves are now washed. And be real careful if you have to adjust your glasses or something, because even if you get your hands close to your eyes, it's gonna tear you to pieces. You're not gonna want to do that. I've got these all cleaned up. We're ready to start. I'm going to put marugas in one pile and the ghost peppers in the next. And I got my garbage can right here, right next to me, for the stems. And just beware, just when you pull a stem off, I like to have a little handle on the stems. And be careful, because sometimes the seeds may pop around on you, And I'll show you how I do these, and you can pretty much do it however you wish. But before I get started, I'm going to, or I'll just tell you while I'm doing this. We're going to start with this Moruga here. And one thing for sure, if I use, on these I'm going to use white distilled vinegar. And I have used white distilled and apple cider vinegar. I've used each one. And woo! And the apple cider vinegar, I believe, gives a little bit better flavor, but it makes the pepper kind of mushy, and the peppers lose their color. With the white distilled vinegar, the color stays really well intact, and it doesn't have quite the same flavor, but they remain crunchy also. The peppers will remain crunchy. And these Morugas are going to be a little tricky to get the seeds out of them, because I don't like the seeds. And we have begun. Try to get the core out. Blah. I try to keep my workstation clean. Look at that. Holy smokes. Wee doggies. And scrape out the seeds here over the garbage can. And if you miss a seed or a little piece doesn't come out of the go into the garbage can, even if it's a week later, you want to wear gloves if you see it on the floor. You do not want to pick it up, because one seed out of here can just tear you to pieces if you're not ready for it. Just rip you to shreds. And then I'm going to cut the rest of that off like that. The smell is making me almost burn up. Now I'm going to get this big knife here to do my slicing. I mean, to do my bits and pieces. I can put these on a sandwich and really regulate the heat. Some people just want to torture themselves and just eat big pieces of these peppers, which I do not like to do. I can eat 3 habaneros raw off the vine, but it has to be cut into real small pieces. And it takes me probably maybe 10-15 minutes to eat them all. I don't like to torture myself, but I do like the flavor. Now, there's a lot of discrepancy over which is the hottest, the Carolina Reaper or the Moruga Scorpion. I think the Scorpion has a little bit better flavor. And I used to not be big on ghost peppers because I didn't like the flavor. I thought the flavor was kind of waning. And I believe also the heat is more directed about the season of how you my dog's now starting to freak out. Where can I go? Where can I go hide? Is to go in soil conditions, water conditions, and such have a lot to do, I think, with how hot they are. The flavor of the ghost peppers I had this year and these Morugas, which I've already eaten some, is very, very similar. Very similar. Which I was real surprised at. And I was real surprised too to see what the variation in those ghost peppers. It might be some weird kind of strain of ghost pepper. I don't know. But like I said, this is what I like doing, is cutting them all up, getting de-seeding them, getting the pith out, and then chopping them up like this and getting them ready, because that way I can I think they look great in the jars like this also. And you don't want to use your cutting board for anything else but this, actually. There's a couple of seeds in there, but I'm and here's a ghost pepper here. This will be our first ghost pepper. Let's decore it from the top and see what we get. Now this cabin just totally smells with the aroma of these peppers. And you be sure not to touch anything. Nothing. And if your knife slips and you go through one of your gloves, stop and take care of it. There's a bit of a ghost there. Boy, it looks good. It's more trouble to do it like this, but man, I tell you what, once they're in the jar and you start trying to cut them up into bite-sized pieces, man, it's hard to, it's just not as easy to do. You have to get out you have to get the board out. You have to set up for a hazardous waste deal. That's what you have to do. You're going to be real careful with your plates too. Don't touch nothing at this point without your gloves on. And make sure you've got all of your tools and your plenty of rags by. Whew. Let's do another ghost. These ghosts are a whole lot easier to deseed than the Moruga scorpions. Now, I explained that the Trinidad scorpion and the Moruga, the only difference is a little tail. Some people call the ones with the tail the Carolina Reaper. I don't know for sure. To me, they do taste similar, and that's all I'm saying. Who knows? And which one's hotter? It's anybody's guess. I go for more flavor though than heat. And this is what I will be doing for the next several hours. Which I will come back when I'm ready. When I get the plates full to a certain point, then I will go and put them in their respective next step dishes. And even still, like, I can feel some little tiny specks of heat on my face because this stuff splatters, and that's what you want to be careful of. Now, what I'm going to do with this screwdriver here is first I'll scratch the back of my head, and then I'm going to hit the record button, the stop button with this screwdriver. Okay, this is maybe let's see here. About an hour later, and I went ahead and decided to do the Morugas first, and that's what I ended up with. And I cut them here up into small pieces. It makes them easier to can, and I like them better like that. But I mean, if somebody doesn't like it like this, I can't handle them, you know, with the big pieces. This is about as big a piece as I can handle at one time on a sandwich. And I'm going to go and I'm going to put them into my salt water solution so that they can store overnight. Now, one thing that I've noticed here, I've got on my double gloves, and on the tips of my fingers here on my left hand, I'm right-handed, and on these three fingers here, the rubber, the nitro, is no longer smooth. The heat of the peppers has caused it to like pit almost. Almost like a give it a grip. And the grip, these gloves don't have a grip. They're just straight slick gloves. But just to let you know, that's probably why I had so much heat go through with the habaneros. Just with one pair of gloves. I'm glad that I did the 2 glove, and these are the thicker 6mm. I've already washed them once, and I'm going to go and dump these, and then I will clean up a little bit, take a break, and show you what that looks like in yonder. My kitchen. Okay, here they're in my, they used to call these, I guess, a saucepan. And here's my saltwater solution. And I actually put a little bit more salt in there. And you're supposed to let them soak overnight, but I have let them go, my habaneros, before. Like I say, this is the first time I've ever done scorpions and ghost peppers. But I have let them soak for a day or two, and it seems to tame them down a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to do that with these or not, but that's all morugas. I guarantee I've probably got maybe 3 or 4 jars there. I'm going to have to buy some more jars. But I like them like this. I like to chunk them up. And it seems like they take on the salt better too when you cut them up into smaller pieces. And I had a problem also with air getting trapped in there, and with some of the bigger pieces. And with these smaller pieces, you don't have that problem. And here's my pan set up here for my ghost peppers, because I got a lot more. I probably got twice as many ghost peppers as scorpions. And now I'm going to go take a break. Okay, I pretty much finished with the ghost peppers. This is how much I ended up with. And something very peculiar that I noticed while cutting these, and I saved these 2 specimens here to show you. I had to change my the regular way I did. I cut habaneros and I cut the morugas the same kind of way as I did the habaneros, but the morugas were like 3 habaneros inside each other. They had like different walls, and so deseeding them, they had less pith, less seeds. Now these ghost peppers, and this was true all of them, not just these brown purplish ones here, but they are really saturated with water. See, the water just pour. Look at that. Look at that. It's not, I don't know that, I'm no damn sure. If it's inside a ghost pepper, it's not just regular water, okay? You see what I'm saying? It's not just regular water. That is really, really warm stuff there, I'm sure. There's your hazardous waste right there, all around us. And I had, and it was spraying too hard when I was trying to cut the pits out. Pits. That's pits. And so I had to use my larger knife exclusively on these and strip them down like that. And something I'm going to show you, then I had to peel the seeds and pith out with my hand, which I don't like doing, but I got the double gloves. And so far I haven't been burned. I haven't suffered. But inside the ghost pepper here is this real heavy green lining. And it's green with this pepper. It's kind of whitish, greenish, yellowish, and there's even one style of the ghost pepper that had an orange pith here, where this one here is green, and that I think that's pretty interesting. I hope it doesn't mess up the my recipe, but they're very, very wet. And then of course I slice them like this a couple of times. These were easier to clean than the morugas overall. Once I got the hang of it, I really went faster with the ghost peppers than I did the morugas. The morugas were a lot more tedious to cut the pits out. Well, that's what I call them. That's what I call them, the pits. And you can see here the color of my cutting board. So I'll scrub that down a couple of times and then put it back out in the shed. Now we're going to cut another one of these ghost peppers just to show you that I just found this peculiar. And here, look here. Let's see if it dumps. Look at that. Look at that. You want to put that? You want to put that on somebody's commode lid? Huh? You want to put that right there? You can't see it. There's no way to see it. It's just, I hope the camera picked that up. Just several drops coming out of that. And cut down this way, pull it out. And there's that real heavy pit. You can see the moisture still in that. I mean, this thing is like... Now, we have had a lot of rain here recently in the last month. So, that could have something to do with it, or not. I don't think that it would have been this wet had it been a really hot, dry summer. Before I get up, I'm going to go ahead and slice this up. I did end up sneezing a lot, and I coughed a lot because when I was still trying to use the small knife and cut them like this, it was spraying up on me. And I did feel a couple little, fragments hit my face. And then I said, well, man, some of these are just full of water. And I'm fixing to sneeze. Woo! Wow. Man. I get a tingle just... Woo! Woo! Every color under the sun there. Now I'm going to go dump these and start cleaning up, and then I'll show you what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and dump them now. Now I'm going to start the cleanup. Now see, this is what I've been using to trigger the camera on and off with. Nothing's been touched. So that needs to be decontaminated. And what I'll do is I'll take out my outside glove here. And they go straight into the trash. And when I was doing this earlier, I took off my inner and outer glove, and I was doing some stuff during my break, and I couldn't remember which one was the inner and which one was the outer, so boom, I axed both of them. And then I still got two backups here. So now we're going to start cleaning up. And everything is in the bowl. I'm going to show the ghost pepper in the bowl. And here's the ghost pepper. Which I'm glad I kept them separate. Generally speaking, with habaneros, green ones, orange ones, and I'll mix them in with some other peppers occasionally, some serranos, jalapenos. I love jalapenos. But these are going to soak at least overnight because I like to get them really saturated. Sometimes you just got to keep patting them. Don't mistake that for chili. Woo! The aroma is well enhancing. There is more, probably half again as many, at least. I would say maybe not twice, or I don't know. It's hard to say. Well, I'll know when I do the jars of them. I'll keep them. I may do one that's mixed. I may do one half and half or something. So all you got to do is just spoon one to the other, make yourself something. And I still haven't been burned. So now I'm going to continue cleaning up. Okay, I've transferred my marugas into this bowl because I'm going to use that same saucepan to finish cooking the vinegar and water recipe with the salt in it. And these have been in the pot here probably about 23 hours. And the smell of the Moruga scorpions is more fruity and aromatic but the smell of because the whole kitchen here smells of these peppers, but the ghost pepper has a darker, more robust, less fruity, and smell to it, aroma. And the marugas, you can smell them just fine from several inches away, whereas with the ghost peppers, I have to get down a little bit closer to really get the full enhancement of the flavors. So now I'm going to, as best I can, try to film this. I did already strain the marugas in my little strainer here, and I'm doing my best not to get burned, because I've been doing fine so far, and I'm hoping to get these all canned up here, and we'll take it to the next step. I also want to say that with doing this, I'll have on the gloves, and I won't be able to shoot every step of the way. I won't be able to do that. Okay, my net yield was 3½ pints of the marugas, and I'm going to show you how I set everything up, and then just dump the boiling water in. And I've got my ghost peppers here draining, and I have had 2 major sneeze attacks. The ghost peppers made me sneeze probably a little more than the marugas, but both of them mighty powerful, mighty powerful. Okay, my yield on the ghost peppers here was 3½. I had 3 here, 3½. So I was wrong on my estimations. Now I've got this pot ready here with my mixture. Now I went ahead and doubled the recipe, because I figured I'd have more to do, and I've actually doubled it before and did fine, and tripled it before and did fine, but one time I did it and I needed more, so I just go ahead and double it. It's not too much to just discard the rest of it, whatever's necessary. Now let's heat this up and pour them in. Okay, I'm waiting for my final stage to boil here. And man, I tell you, I've had a lot of sneezes. Right now I'm just draining. My nose is just draining like crazy. And you may notice I put these on a plastic cutting board here, the same one I use, just so that the heat doesn't transfer into into the countertop. And I'm going to try to get me pouring it in there. Wow. Oh, man. Here's my tongs. I used a spoon also. That's been decontaminated. But tonight I didn't touch any peppers. I've not touched anything. Woo! Okay, I've got a really good boil going on here. One, two, woo! Oh, 3. Put them on good and tight. And I'll put them outside to let them cool. I've already got M labeled on for the marugas. I don't know. I'm not going to have enough. I'm not going to have enough to do all of these. I'm going to have to do more. I'm going to have to make some more. I didn't get that right. I don't fill the jar up, I just do enough to cover the peppers. But what do you know, I do have enough. I do have enough. Put a little bit extra in there. And there we go. As these cool down, they'll pull a suction, and then they'll be ready for the fridge, and they will stay in the refrigerator indefinitely. I've kept peppers. There's a couple of times I've actually made enough to last me a couple of years, and they were still fine. And here we go. And that's how I do it.